Good morning, App Properties. It's Wednesday, April 29th. I'm Amy Corr, and I'm joined by Kevin Van Eck, who is live out of our Goose Island office. Grab your cup of coffee, and as we dive into another episode of Coffee with Amy and Kevin.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Amy. Thanks for joining us again today. Looking forward to a great episode here on Wednesdays. As we've been doing over the last several weeks, we like to talk with App Properties brokers to get their perspective on what's happening and how they're handling business during this time of shelter in place and the pandemic. So today we brought someone on who really is known for being focused, driven, and ultimately GSD, which is getting stuff done. So we're going to talk with her today about how she's been handling the changes and adaptations that we've had to make and what she sees going forward.
Thanks, Kevin. Yep, I'm super excited to have Connie Dornan here with us. I met Connie, I think, over 7 years ago when she was considering joining our App Properties Glenview office. Talk about a sharp broker who goes above and beyond for her clients. That's Connie. Now, fast forward, she is sitting here with us today to share her experiences as she navigates COVID-19. So good morning, Connie. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Kevin. Actually, Amy, I remember the first time I met you, and we had coffee in the morning. So
we did at that little place in Glencoe.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Time flies and we're having fun, right? Yeah. Well, we're all having to adapt, but I actually had an opportunity to talk with Natasha O'Connor, your managing broker, and she has shared with us just, the amazing job that you have done really pivoting right now as we are in the middle of a pandemic. And, I wanted to ask you, what was your overall mindset as the news developed, that we were going to have to shift our business and as we were headed into lockdown?
Actually, I kind of got excited. I know that sounds strange. Obviously, I was worried about the health impact and issues and stuff like that. I've got a heart condition, so I am worried about myself. But on the other side, I kind of got excited for a couple of things. Number one, this is an opportunity. And so I started my business during the downturn, and that's where I saw myself grow. I saw what other people were doing. I did something completely different than that. It worked for me. And so now I'm like, I've been spending all this money on videos, floor plans, photography. People are going to start looking at these things finally, right? All this money that I've been spending. Because I was so sick and tired of going to showings. So like, oh, well, we really wanted 4 or 5 bedrooms upstairs. Now they're forced to take a look at those floor plans in the video and see that whether or not it's an open floor plan, how many bedrooms are on the second floor, and they're looking at my collateral, which is great, so it's good that I already had all these systems in place to begin with, in terms of WeChat, WhatsApp, Facebook, Insta, all the social media. I'm already on it. I've been communicating with my clients that way for years. So for me, it was an easy transition into it. The other part that I was excited about, that this kind of happened for me, I'm a germaphobe. Ask my staff, ask my clients, I don't like touching doorknobs and light switches. I always have like a handkerchief to open things up. So for me, it's like, oh my God, I get to wear gloves. This is great. No one thinks I'm strange. I'm the kind of person that gets to the airport like 2 to 3 hours ahead of the airplane. So I'm the first one on the plane, and I've got my wipies. I wipe everything down. So now it's considered normal. So for me, it was kind of exciting that I can just be myself, and then people can see the assets that I have for all of my listings. And all of my clients have been impressed. Now my clients are paying attention to everything that I've done, even though on a weekly basis, I've been doing this for 15 years. On a weekly basis, I email all of my sellers. Okay, these are your updates on your home. And I also have a link with all the collateral and assets that I've been doing in terms of marketing and advertising their home. So, but now they're actually paying attention to that, and all the reporting that I've been doing. So they're like, oh, this is good that you've been doing it. I'm like, yeah, well, So for me, it was an easy transition getting into this. I didn't really have a problem.
That's so interesting. So what is like a new normal for so many people is just Connie's normal. And now everybody is noticing and actually recognizing probably a lot of the stuff that you've had in place, which is, phenomenal. So I want to ask you this.
Can I follow up with
go ahead.
one thing? I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, it's okay.
The reason I have all these assets in place and I'm able to do this is because of that property. So I want to make that absolutely clear. This is not something that I woke up one day a couple of years ago and thought, oh, I'm going to do this for all of my listings. It's because Ad Properties provides us with all this information, all this technology, and I tap into it. I look at it. Do I like it? Do I not like it? How can I use it? I'll try it. If I don't like it, then I won't use it. But I've used it because most of the stuff that the company offers is brilliant. And that's why it's been an easy transition for me.
And I love that because I think, when the market's easy, it's easy to sell homes, right? But when we run into challenges such as what we're seeing here, I think it's where it really breaks up the pack of, preparation and infrastructure and just having tools available to allow brokers to, really do well and continue to do their job. So I want to ask you kind of this follow-up question. We've been in shelter in place for about 45 days. Has anything surprised you, just about, interaction with your clients or, just deals that either are or are not coming together?
I have some clients that have been following the news very closely. They've been watching what's been happening in Asia and how the markets in Asia are slowly opening up, and maybe they have family or relatives there. Those particular clients are absolutely fine. Nothing has stopped them. We've gone under contract. I have sold homes in the last 45 days. And they're carrying on as usual. We go out with a mask, gloves, we're taking all precautions. We're also doing 6 feet of social distancing during those appointments, and there hasn't been any change. And then I've got some clients that are more anxiety ridden. So they've taken a back seat, but I'm still in constant communication with them via email, Zoom calls, FaceTime, whatever. And I'll still answer questions to them. Just yesterday with a buyer that we were under contract with, she lost her job. So we had to pull out of the contract because of COVID. And now her employer said, oh, you know what? We're going to start hiring people back and we're looking at like a July 1st date. So she's excited about that. Okay, so we didn't close in April or May that we were supposed to. Now we're going to find a different house and maybe we're going to close September, October instead. And that's absolutely fine. But we're continuing the dialogue about house, about the market, the economy, interest rates, that it's still a brilliant time to buy a house. Plus, everybody's sheltering in place right now. I'm thinking there's going to be a baby boom in about 9 months, and a lot of divorces, people downsizing, wanting to get a condo in the same school district, wanting to upsize because the baby is coming and the mother-in-law's got to move in to help with the baby. So I think we're going to be busy. We'll be fine.
Yes, I think there's going to be opportunity coming out of this, right? So while it's tough times now, there's going to be a silver lining, if you want to call it. So I think with that, you have all these clients that are at different stages, right? So you've got some people that are acting like it's, like nothing's happening. You have some people that are a little bit fearful, but you've been able to capture clients during this time, right? So we continue to get questions about how we can work with sellers and buyers, and specifically how we can do listing presentations or, capture a buyer and get their commitment to us. How have you been able to do that during this time?
Again, I did surprise myself with one particular listing that I got via FaceTime showing. I have not even walked into the house. So we had a listing presentation scheduled, and then the shutdown happened, and they're an older couple. So they called me up and we rescheduled for after the first shutdown. So I think it was supposed to expire like April 7th or something. And I think it was like for the following day. And then it was extended till the end of April. So they called me up and they're like, hey, you know what, can we, reschedule for May when, and I'm like, well, you know what, do you guys do FaceTime at all? Because I knew that they were grandparents. And they're like, yeah, we FaceTime with our grandchildren, but we're not quite sure. They call us and we just press the button. And I'm like, all right, I could do the same thing. What are you guys doing right now? They're like, nothing. We're just sitting at home in our kitchen. I'm like, well, let's just do it right now. I've got nothing to do. So, like get your FaceTime. So, and a little old couple, well, I don't know, early 80s or something. I don't know. So we do the FaceTime. They're all nervous. They're on the phone. They're excited. I'm like, okay, now let's walk around the house. Let's start here. So I already knew because I did a Google Earth and I saw, I walked around their neighborhood. So I saw the style of house. So I already knew what kind of floor plan I'm looking at, right? So just based on experience. So now we're walking around the house and I'm looking at the finishes and what they've done. Go downstairs in the basement. It looks like they hoarded all the toilet paper. If you need toilet paper, I'll give you the address. That's where it is. So, and we're going around and they had a good time. I had a good time chatting with them. We were on this call for maybe about an hour and a half. I gave them pointers of what they needed to clutter, what they need to fix, paint. I gave them referrals like, okay, call this painter. He'll come in, he'll do blah, blah, blah. Call this guy for the handyman to fix XYZ. Let's change some light fixtures. Here are some links. Here's an inexpensive light fixture to kind of make the kitchen look a little more fresh. So, and they called me up and they're like, okay, we're going to think about this and give us about a week or so and we'll make a decision and we'll get back to you. I'm like, all right, fine. So they actually called me up 2 hours later. We want to hire you. I'm like, okay, let's go through the listing agreement. So we went through the listing agreement, got it signed, the whole thing. And these people are in I think their early 80s. They look about my dad's age. So yeah, I thought it was fun,
I love this. This is amazing. I mean, I think it just goes to show you really can adapt using technology. And I think, what you're speaking to is, I think a lot of the hesitation of so many brokers out there where they're sort of projecting onto their client or the consumer that the consumer isn't going to be comfortable doing any of this stuff by, using technology or through Zoom or FaceTime. But what I love and what I'm hearing from you is they actually probably loved it. It took up an hour and a half of their day, where they're normally sitting and watching CNN. And so now, it's kind of a new norm for everybody. And I feel like a lot of people really are embracing it. So I think, what you're speaking to is give it a shot and just continue to operate in any way that you can and just adjust to the new normal. And I think your agents or your clients or the consumer is going to respond. So I wanted to ask you this, because when I was talking with Natasha, just as we were talking about your business and what you've been doing, she said that you had mentioned the importance of being able to keep deals together and really continuing to work through transactions. But, some of the most important factors in being able to do that, and I know you mentioned the importance of having a team, not specifically your team, but a team of professionals lined up. So can you tell me a little bit more about how you feel like that's so important right now?
Well, like I said, I've been doing this for 15 years and I've developed very strong relationships with a wide variety of different people. Having those strong relationships, these people will pick up my phone at 11 o'clock at night on a Saturday, on a Friday, whenever I need them, 6 o'clock in the morning. They see me calling, they'll pick up the phone. Hey, I've got a problem. I need you to run over here and do that. And so I scratch their back, they scratch my back. And I am ferociously loyal, and they know that about me, and they're loyal to me. And working with a great set of attorneys, handymen, painters, plumbers, contractors, even appraisers. Appraisers can kill your deal. You have to be at every single appraisal. You have to know everything about that appraiser. You have to remember, is he a grandfather? Does he have grandchildren or a grandmother, whatever, something about them? Remember them, because this person, if you have oversold this property, and you know that you have it and you don't have enough comps and you need them to appraise that house, you better show up with like, hey, I know you love barbecue sauce. Look what I picked up for you. So having relationships across the board, is super duper important to make sure that that transaction continues. Inspectors, it's important to have, to make sure that you've got these established relationships with inspectors, especially during this time right now, where it depends. Some homes that have some sellers that are occupied will allow buyers to come in during the inspection as long as it's limited to just like 4 people or less. And some will not. They will only allow the inspector to come in and no one else. So in those situations, I've made sure that the inspector is blocked out 2 hours of his time to sit on the phone, FaceTime or Zoom with me and the client to go over step by step the entire inspection report and feel like they're there and be able during the inspection to say, hey, Connie, I just found a problem up in the attic. Take a look at this. I think it's mold or whatever. And we'll discuss it with the client and, you know, kind of keep tempers down. Like, mold is not going to kill you. It's just the type of mildew. I mean, assuming that it's just a leak or whatever, you know? So yeah, but I mean, for me, then clients have felt that we've actually been in person with the way that I've been communicating. I don't think it's productive to be negative at all. This is a challenge, and I look it straight in the eye and I'm like, all right, I got this, you know, and you just keep moving forward. What am I gonna do? Sit here and cry all day about it?
I love your perspective. And I know hopefully everyone watching, you know, takes something from this, because we talk about being a victim or a player. And Connie, you're clearly a player, if you know what that means, which means, you know, we can either sit and wallow or we can take the opportunity in front of us and move forward. So moving forward, you know, a lot of people, and you've already mentioned it in terms of your listings, whether it's floor plans or videos, you know, what have you changed, if anything? Have you had to shift your advertising or marketing to continue creating exposure?
Yes. So with Century Media going out of business, you know, with the print advertising, so that was a hit. So now I've got to kind of reinvent things in terms of print and come up with new and fresh ideas. But even before that, my plan for 2020 was to hit it harder on the online ads anyway. So that already fit in with my plan. I just upped it a bit more than I was planning. So AdWorks, great tool that we have. Wiki Realty, great tool that we have. Social media, it's free. It's all there for yourself. You can pay for ads if you want, or you can't, or whatever you want. I've just upped my game on all of that. I've become far more consistent and far more aggressive, and I'm seeing the payoff on that. I've had several showings with serious buyers. Today I have a second showing lined up on a property. So my clients are finally noticing, because everybody's like working and on the humdrum. Now that they're home, they're sitting there scrolling on their phones like, oh, you know, you advertise your property. I'm like, yeah, I've been doing this for quite a while. You know that I've been sharing this information with you. So now they're finally noticing it, and other people are noticing it too. I've picked up buyers from it too. I mean, they'll contact me. They like my message. They like the way that I communicate. They like the way that I advertise. So it's all good stuff. And you don't have to have deep pockets to do this. This is all free. You don't know how to do an IGTV video? Guess what? Go on YouTube. There is instructions. At Properties gives you instructions. There is no excuse why you can't be busy all day.
I love it. Public service announcement from Connie, right? But it's true. You know, I think it is true. And I think the other thing is there are a lot of things that people can be doing that does not cost a lot. And, you know, I just love kind of really your whole attitude about it. I just feel like you shifted where you needed to. You know, you made a pivot or a change in your business because something adjusted in our marketplace. But I just feel like your attitude is still positive, moving forward, business as usual. Because I think, you know, we set the tone too for our clients. As to your point, if you're at home freaking out and worried about what's happening, your clients and the consumer and the people you interact with are going to feel that, you know. So it's really about us being leaders at this point in time, you know, in our community. And even if it doesn't directly impact business right away, I think long term, people are going to look back to you, Connie, and just sort of see how you operated, you know, during this time. And that's going to have an impact on your business. So I want to ask you about this. So in the present, you know, there's probably things that you're doing and you're focusing on to stay in front of your clients. And I know that, you know, you always focus on forward growth. You know, how are you going to continue to grow your business down the road, you know, staying in front of clients? And you were just sharing with us earlier, and I want you to tell us about what you're doing right now, particularly what's on your dining room table that you've been working on as a way to get out and continue growing your business and staying in front of your clients.
Well, prepare yourself for this. Now, for 15 years that I've been doing this, and before I turn the computer around for you guys to see this, for 15 years, every holiday, I send a cap gift out to all of my clients. Now, when I started the business, it was maybe about, 10 or 20, so then my business has grown. So now it's about 1,000 cap gifts that I send out per year. And I always send it out around November, December for the holidays. In 15 years, I only sent it out once in July. And and that was my olive oil. I've inherited olive groves in Greece from my grandparents. So that was the first time I ever did that. Was about 2 years ago. So I was planning on doing the olive oil again, and I was going to send it out July, August, because I'm busy. I'm busy this time of year, but now I'm like, you know what? Everybody's at home. They're depressed. Might as well get this done now. They get a little surprise. So here's my dining room. So these are all the boxes here. I've been packing and bottling everything. I'll show you what it looks like actually. So here, had to make the boxes. They come in flat packs, fill them up with crinkle paper. I'll show you a completed one. Do you see this? There are
Holy cow, yes.
607 are in this stack. Okay, so there's another 400 in the basement that'll be coming up today because all this stuff is going to be going out in the mail. But here is what the box looks like. So we got the crinkle paper, had to fold up the box, bubble wrap, bottle 1,000 bottles, create my own label, shrink wrap. The shrink wrap is a pain in the butt because we had to put these caps on and sat there with blow dryers to blow. My husband and I were up till 2 o'clock in the morning on Monday night, shrink wrapping 1,000 bottles. So then last night, as I was putting this contract together with the client, I'm on the phone with the client going over the contract because I just know it by heart. And we're sitting there and we're wrapping with the bubble wrap and stuffing. And I'm on the phone. Yeah, well, paragraph 8 says da 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 da. So it's been fun actually. And so then my clients are going to get this and they're going to love it. And it's going to brighten up their day because a lot of them are kind of depressed about, okay, we're sick and tired of working from home. The kids are driving us crazy. We lost our jobs or furloughed, or we're worried about the future, etc. They'll get a little surprise from me with a funny little card in it. It'll brighten up their day. Hopefully I'll sell a couple more houses from it.
Connie, thank you. I think every time we talk, my face hurts from smiling and laughing. So that's number one. And number two, the way we started this conversation was talking about how you're known for getting stuff done. I think looking at the boxes, the crinkle paper, the bubble wrap, the shrink wrapping on the top, I think it's an understatement.
I mean, look at this. I've got blow dryers in my dining room. I mean, it's just a disaster in here.
That's so great. Thank you for sharing, Connie. We really appreciate you being on.
Sure. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
And we know that things are tough. We know that people are struggling out there, whether it's emotionally, financially, and maybe, health-wise. But I think this conversation today has really enforced that we control our own environment in some way. And how we're going to come out of this, whether it's coming out stronger or being able to grow through this period of time, even though there's some struggle out there, I think we can do it. But we have to take action. And whether it is, bottling olive oil or whether it's taking advantage of the free things that are available to you, what Connie said is there's no excuse, right? So there's a lot of opportunity out there. Today, we have training, in fact, on the CRM, the CMA, the new @Drive tool, and then also open houses and lead conversion. So make sure you take advantage of those. And then stay tuned. Tomorrow at 4 p.m., we have high tea with Mike and Thad, and we're going to roll out our program for the month of May. So thank you, Amy, Connie. Always great. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Connie. Make it a great day, you guys.
Take care. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.